Right, we're off. So for anybody that's watching this on YouTube, you'll see, let's just pay attention to it straight away. Luke's microphone, he's forgot the arm for it, so he's holding it like a presenter. So I'm sure we'll get plenty of clips out of this for you, mate. We can have a laugh with it. How are you, pal?
I'm very good. I've already trained today, but I'm going to have probably a fatigued left anterior delt, and I'll probably switch it up a bit. So I'm getting extra work out here for my mistakes.
Straight in with the education. There you go. For you guys that don't know what that is.
Anterior deltoid, yeah.
He's already trained.
An isometric hold.
Yeah, we'll just see you switching hands throughout. So I'm really excited about this conversation. As I was just saying before we started recording, you've done it. Well, to me, you've done it all, right? You've been there, got the t-shirt, literally like built the business, everything around it. I first kind of came across you in Manchester when you spoke at Amelia and Emma's event way back when. And you're also ridiculously funny. So there you go. There's a little compliment for you. You're like the fitness industry's equivalent to Danny Dyer.
There you go. It's like a Danny Dyer / Carl Pilkington.
That's. Do you know what?
It's good, isn't it?
That's actually on the money. So what I want to talk about first and foremost, mate, is give us a whistle-stop tour of your kind of like entry into the fitness industry.
Yeah. So at university, didn't want to get a normal job. Managed to do a level 2 qualification fitness instructor in 2 weeks. Started working at Bannatyne's gym. Did that from 18 to 21. So, well, just before I was 19. Finished university. Did my level 3 distance learning. And then started doing PT. Didn't really enjoy in-person PT, especially at the start. It was kind of hard transition from Luke, the fitness instructor, to Luke getting paid probably like £6.50 an hour to then trying to charge £40, £50 an hour. So I did find it quite hard. Again, at the start, you're trying to train people before they work, during their lunch break, and after they finish work.
Yeah.
And at the time, within a relationship, it was a primary school teacher, so it just didn't really work that well because of the workload. Then got into college lecturing. So I started delivering level 2, level 3 qualifications, BTEC Nationals, level 2 activity leadership. So I did lecturing for 5 years. And during 2012, girlfriend told me she was pregnant. It wasn't planned, Len. She told me via WhatsApp with a photo of a pregnancy stick and decided to have
telling this story.
a really deep, hot, soaking bath. I don't know if bath. I don't know if she probably didn't put candles out. And so I'm just frantically ringing her like, what? Yeah. And she didn't pick up for like 30 minutes. That was the catalyst where I then started online coaching. So 2012, there wasn't any coaching software. Zoom was around, but it's in its infancy stage. Like it was Skype back then. So managed to do online coaching, took on 10 clients, 8 of them for old school friends, and then managed to save 16 to 17 grand in 9 months, moved out of house with mummy and daddy. And then started putting on conferences, bringing people over from the US over here, made my salary in a weekend. Then I transitioned to online coaching under Shredded by Science, 2013, 2015. 2015, we went from we had 12 coaches, and we used to do one-to-one group coaching, memberships, coaching guides. So if there's a way to make money online in fitness, I've made it. Then fast forward, coaches getting paid, I'm not getting paid, change the business model, go back to education, launch the SBS Academy from 2015, 2018, like thousands of trainers all over the world, and then pivoted to PTC with PTC education, started delivering level 2, level 3 qualifications, trying to get them from day one rather than going to a crappy little training provider. And there was nothing after that because 90% of trainers fail within the first year. And fast forward a little bit, I took a year off, I'm coming back, and that's it.
Here we go. So when I said you've done it all, you've genuinely done it all. So what I want to talk about first and foremost is that online coaching is obviously kind of like my bag. I've never done in person. I believe there are obviously transferable skills, but I never did that. 2012, did you say you first started online coaching?
Yeah.
So I would say, and again, this is me just assuming, but you must have been one of the first.
Yeah, the only 2 people that I was aware of were the strength guys, and actually signed up to like Jason Tremblay. I actually signed up to them as a client because I wanted to experience it as well. And there was a guy called Luke Hazlitt, this Irish guy. It was online coaching, but think of him like an early influencer where just give them like the same training plan and even keep their name at like the name would be someone else's name at the top. So that's the type of what we had. So there wasn't, it was like, yeah, I can't think of anyone else that was doing it because I was working 40 hours a week at the time. And at the time I wanted to be a fitness model. And I thought, Len's coming. I know everyone says it's going to be hard being a dad. You don't know until you know. And then if you've got 3 kids and someone's got 1 kid, the person with 1 child is like, oh, you've got a dog. Because that's how a 1 child is. And if you've just got a dog, then it's like, yeah, life is real easy. So I ended up dieting like a bro. Took some photos with me. I had a photo of me with a lemon ice. I'm half Greek, so fairly hairy, with a hairy chest. 10 weeks eating boiled eggs, walnuts, paprika for breakfast, no carbs for breakfast, and no carbs after 6. So I think I was allowed carbs during the day. Managed to get some really good results in a short frame of time, and then waxed my chest and got my sister's now husband, who did photography, to take pictures of me. And that was a catalyst of me posting it on my personal Facebook. And people were like, can you coach me? Can you coach me? Well, if I'm already working 40 hours a week, I can't. But I can do it online. And you think about, even like now, there's not many good things about C19. But one of them was that the demand or openness to having a coach online, especially for Gen Pop clients, is a lot higher now, even though there are a lot more supply. So looking at supply and demand, there's a lot more people online. So you've got more competition, but you also, the Gen Pop clients are now aware of online coaching. So it's easier and harder at certain points. And yes, I can't remember what the question was, but it was...
No, I was going to ask you basically. So you actually answered it already. I was going to say, like, people now get into online coaching. Maybe they sign up with a coach and they kind of see how they get coached and they think that's how it should be done. That's what I was going to ask you: is how the fuck did you figure it out? Was there anybody else doing it? The whole the C19 thing. It's mad. It obviously accelerated things massively. But if I'm right, you'd started online coaching, done it, and wrapped up online coaching before that was even a thing, right? So you'd already been through that entire kind of journey, and then we're heading into the education thing. So how do you go about figuring out creating? This is a bit of a loaded question. How do you go about creating an online coaching service? We're not talking about business just yet, because I know what you're doing now, and we are going to get onto that. As somebody that's just getting started out, what do you think people need to focus on when they're actually putting together something to sell online?
Nice. I feel like the more niched you are starting off, if you look at big businesses, you've got to start with a niche. So 9 times out of 10, you should probably pick you a few years beforehand as your niche. Because let's say, for example, 23, 24-year-old Luke then goes, like when I started online coaching, and I go, oh, my niche is going to be fat dads. Why? Dads, they're probably older, they've got more money, and they've got less time, and they're fat. So that's going to be my niche. But who's going to relate? One of those people, it's all about relevancy. It's like they're not going to pick, like, why would they pick me over someone that's similar to their age and actually understands them because they are a dad? So with online, you've got the luxury that you can just be very, very niched. And as I said, like Amazon started selling books, and then they sell absolutely everything now. So because you have the whole world, it doesn't mean you should try and target the whole world. The first point of call is you just need to start. Yeah. And at the start, even with like in-person clients, if you want someone to sign up with you today, it's not like the result, it's not the post you did yesterday that's going to get the result. So as I said, my first 10 clients were people that I knew.
Yeah.
So I would build as I'm going. Like, we know everyone needs training related. Everyone's going to need nutrition related. People are going to need accountability. The tools you use, the software you use, it doesn't really matter at the start. Everyone's so focused on, I'm going to try and automate everything. And you've got 0 clients, or you've got 5 clients.
And all the time in the world.
Yeah. And you just need to get reps in. So is there skills that can transfer from in-person to online? Yes. But there's also skills if you wasn't an in-person trainer, but let's say you dealt with customer support, or you was front-facing, you had to talk to a different variety of people. I think the thing that gave me, I'd say, I would take someone that has a personality over someone that is a boffin as a personal trainer, whether that's in person or online. Someone who's got a personality, because that's the thing, personal training. You can't hide behind carousels or design stuff. People buy into people. So to start off with, it'd be, what am I going to do for training? What am I going to do for nutrition? And how am I going to communicate with my clients? And how often am I going to check in? Once you've got those deliverables down, you're then going, rather than, yes, starting off with a niche, most people, even like in-person training, you take anyone on. Now, what I would say is, from my vast years of experience, for one-to-one online coaching, we're talking 2012, 2015. So it was very, like, the only people that really signed up were bodybuilders, powerlifters, and those which were like really keen into health and fitness. Like they
super
watch
motivated.
YouTube videos.
Yeah.
And nowadays you've got different, even though it's widened, online coaching, true one-to-one online coaching, where we're not doing live video calls and we're going, right, let's do some star jumps or burpees and I'll do some shoulder press. That was COVID. I sort of laughed at it a little bit, because when I started online coaching, it's like, what are you going to do? Star jumps on Skype? It's like, no, what are you going to do now? Like
Star jumps on Instagram lives, apparently, mate.
Yeah. So from true like one-to-one coaching, someone already has to have a certain foundational knowledge in regards to exercise, in regards to nutrition. They have to be, if as an online coach, we need data.
Mm-hmm.
We need to see, are they training? What are they lifting? How are they lifting? Nutrition wise, they need to be tech savvy enough. And I always use the example of Josh and Debbie. Josh was just finishing uni, and then I was coaching him and his mum. Josh was the ideal one-to-one client. He already went to the gym. He was motivated to go to the gym. He knew how to lift. He was tracking on MyFitnessPal already. And Debbie had been on every single, like, Slimming World, like every yo-yo diet that you could think of. And it took me so much more time to coach her. And when people ask me, will online coaching put in-person coaching out of business? I'm like, no, it definitely will hurt it to a certain extent. But you're still going to have people that go to the gym for the social aspect. You're still going to have more Gen Pop clients that need to have a specific time in a specific place with a specific trainer for them to actually turn up and go to the gym. Otherwise, they don't have the motivation to do it on their own.
Yeah, I think it's like the different tools for different jobs, right?
Yeah, exactly that. I use the example as well when people say one-to-one or group. And I say it's very rare. Like when you go to a gym and say the classes are free, if you look in at most of the classes, and even the classes on the timetable, 95% of the people in there are females.
Mm.
And then very rarely will you find those people do group coaching, like from a group class, and then go and hire a one-to-one coach as well. So there's different target markets require different forms of coaching. Group, maybe say if they have done some yo-yo diets and the typical slimming clubs and stuff like that, having a lower price thing because they're used to, like, you could say, oh, I'm going to charge £500 a month. And you'd be like, you're going to get a call once a day and you're going to get this and get that. But if your target market, one, can't afford it, or two, even if they can afford it, don't actually assign £500 a month for their health and fitness because they'd rather spend it on other things. Just finding out your target market first and then reverse engineering what coaching service you're going to give them, what the deliverables are going to be, and how much time will that take you per month.
Yeah.
Then that dictates the price. So target market, then build your service. And then when you're looking at the deliverables, you've then got to weigh up, well, how many hours on average will that take per month? And then you're coming up with the price. It's not just so high ticket. And if they can't afford it, then they don't want it enough. It's going, no, you've got to find out who your target market is and then build a service around that. Like my client, Robin, she does $9.99 a month and then $24.99 a month. But we're talking like they're like the target market I just said, some of them on welfare as well. And if she tried to sell like £200, it just wouldn't work. Everyone has different goals and visions and values of what they want in life. So hers is very much group focused, communities thriving, pun there because it's Thrive with Robin. And they get live workouts because they love that interaction with it. And they get education because you have to re-educate people because they've gone through 95% of their life being told misinformation.
Especially with, obviously, I know Robin, especially with Robin's target market, yeah. And I think that what you've just touched on there is it's built around who you're coaching. There's no rule book, right? There's no rule book of what you have to do as an online coach. Like I said, you have to deliver, more than likely, some nutrition, some training, some sort of accountability. That's it. After that, it's like, what do they need? I have this conversation with some coaches that I work with all the time about like checking feedback. You working with people that are literally rushed off their feet busy and sending them a 20-minute loom and then wondering why they're not watching it for 5 days. It's like 30-second, for some people, 30-second voice note and written adjustments. For some people that need the education and you to be able to pull up things and show them and whatever, then loom, there's no right or wrong way to do it. My experience was kind of different, and it was during the pandemic. Our niche was body transformation. It was just that. It was like before and afters, just churning them out. Again, really uneducated about the mindset stuff, which is obviously what was the catalyst for me to get into it. I took on 10 people that I knew, like you said. 7 of them saw it through. So 3 of them gone. 7 very, very, very good results within 3 months. It became a lot easier then. But I think I got into it at that stage where you didn't necessarily have to have a niche, as you didn't have to niche down as much. And I think one of the reasons that, big headed or not, I class myself as such a good coach now is because I've worked with so many different types of people. But do you think people could get away with doing it that way these days?
You could. It would just make it a lot harder.
Yeah.
Because then, even from systems, resources, and I'm not saying like you have one coaching style and everyone has to fit that.
Yeah.
But even if a community is part of it, if you've got a wide variety of people, different genders, different ages, different goals, for a community to thrive, they need to have a common problem or common goal.
Shared interests, yeah.
And it's like there's reason why there's social cliques where people hang out with similar people to them. So can you do it? Yeah. And the other thing as well, Lewis, is that when I first got into PT, I didn't want to be a personal trainer. I'd be like, why would I want to just coach some Sally on the gym floor? Just wants to lose a bit of weight, or she wants to get in a wedding dress. But at the time, I was like, I want to do S&C. I want to work with athletes. I only want to work with serious people. And until when you sit down and look at it, it was like, how many S&C versus PT is very different. There's S&C roles, and there's always going to be a limited number of those roles there. And then even with people that do that, they said, like when they're working with, especially like nutritionists, is if someone's just genetically gifted, when it comes to that top end, we're talking like the 0.1% of people, because they've been blessed with genetics and getting to them to where they are today, they disregard it. They're like, oh, I don't really care. I'm really good. But to get to the top of the top. So it's not until you actually try coaching people. My in-person clients were MILFs. I love coaching MILFs. They loved me. I was younger. I was on the gym floor. I was in shape. And they were my ideal clients in person. Online, they were not my ideal.
Yeah.
My ideal clients were Shredded by Science. And the reason why I come up with the name Shredded by Science was shredded in the context of what we was using it, only really was known by younger men. By Science, repelled idiots. Put them together, you're like, oh, now I've gone from Luke Johnson PT to take on anyone, to then start niching down, knowing who I want to work with, who I get better results with, and how I want to coach people. And basically, who resonates with me more, and you'll be a better coach than me for a different target market, and I'll be a better coach than you for another target market. So staying sort of like, you have to taste it a little bit to find out what you want and what you're actually good at, and then going, cool, now I'm going to go all in on that. So I feel like you have to try it out at first.
Yeah.
And that's when you'll be able to pick up many different skills. As I said, on the gym floor, I'd be able to talk to an 18-year-old about the football, and then go and talk to his nan about bingo.
So what was that the trigger for Shredded by Science? And you realized, actually, this is who I want to work with and this is how I want to do it. So I'm now going to move away, because obviously Shredded by Science is where you then started to build the team and things really took off. Was that the trigger, realizing who you wanted to work with?
Yeah, it was going through for like a year, just over a year of taking on anyone, because you're starting out. I still feel that that's the way to go. But if you then want to streamline processes, if you then want to grow the business, you want to be known for the go-to person for when it comes to this person. So if someone says to who like, oh, I want to do a natural bodybuilding prep contest. I'm going, go AJ Morris or go 3DMJ. Like, you want people to be able to just refer people to you and be that go-to person for that niche.
Being the guy, yeah.
And even if, like, the term specialist, you can call yourself a specialist without actually having a massive track record of getting like results for that. You're just saying, I'm specializing my service to this.
Yeah.
When you look at it, a custom training plan, custom nutrition approach, whatever it would be, whether you're tracking macros, whether you're doing like a PN food control thing or whatever method you want to do, and accountability, how you stand out today. And this is a good thing. There's more and more mentors, which is good and bad to a certain extent, but the standard of, like, if you look back on, there wasn't many people doing online coaching in 2012. And the actual, because the whole industry has evolved, the standard of online coaching overall has gone up.
Yeah.
So that if you're all selling the exact same thing, the only way that you can stand out is by the wrapper, is by saying, my dad's 3D system training. So it's like, okay, I'll go with you because you're, even just by labeling it and tweaking the words and building the offer,
you've got a system and it's not, yeah,
and it could be a shopping list, but the shopping list could be for, say, Robin's community, like the budget shopping list, or for parents with not a lot of time or a busy professional, it could be speedy meals. So it's still pretty much exactly the same. It's just to stand out in the sea amongst influencers and trainers, you've got to put yourself out there and be yourself. So it's not trying, it's being open. It's saying, I'm Luke, I'm into gaming, I'm a dad, I'm a business owner, I used to do karate, this is my story.
Yeah.
And there's plenty of people that, some people are just boring. So it's like, if you was an accountant and now you're doing PT because you was bored of accounting, but you are quite a boring person, I'm not going to mesh with you. Like, we're not going to get on. So when I hired my online coach, like last year, one of the things was they've got to be a dad. So that was one of the things. So it's looking at how you can not necessarily be someone you're not. So I always say you're not Daniel Craig or Halle Berry and getting paid to be an actor. So just be yourself. And by being yourself, you're people who are like attracted to you and get like you resonate with them. They'll be the people. That's how you're going to stand out amongst all the other online coaches. But there will also be people that don't gel with you, and that's fine. Like, when you're marketing, you should market like a magnet.
Yeah.
Attract the people you want to attract and repel those you don't want to work with.
I think people get a little bit worried. Well, I know coaches get a little bit worried about really leaning into who they are in the content and on social media and stuff like that. I don't know why. Maybe because people have told them not to. I genuinely have no idea why. The people that I see do really well are people that are willing to go, this is me in its truest form. Like, we were talking about when I saw you at Perform X, we mentioned Aaron Davis. Fantastic example of it. Fantastic example of it. A friend of mine, Patrina, fantastic example of it, of not your typical personal trainer coach. Weird, like, in the, me saying weird in the way that I'm the same sort of weirdo that collects fucking Pokemon cards and all that sort of stuff, right? But they've now turned that into an absolute positive. And like you said, that polarizing thing, Patrina, for example, gets more hammer on those not gonna lie. She's actually one of the guests for the first series of this as well, and we talked about this. Not gonna lie. Do you know those anonymous question boxes? She gets so much fucking genuine, horrible comments on there. She's also got a really, really thriving business of weirdos and outcasts and stuff like that. And I think people are worried, scared for whatever reason to actually lean into that, into themselves and their story. Yeah,
it's just, she said, just be yourself. Like, I wouldn't want someone's. I don't think I may have sworn this podcast yet, but I'm just being myself. So I remember when my brother was working for me, and we'd do the vlogs, he'd be like, oh, do you think you should swear? Because it might like turn people off. They might not want to sign up. And I was like, I wouldn't want their money if someone gets offended by an F word, then I wouldn't want their money. So as you said, with Aaron, when I started working with Aaron, it was going, right, let's get your brand on point. And I'm into like Call of Duty gaming.
Yeah.
He's into Dungeons and Dragons and
Dungeons and
Warhammer.
Dragons, I would imagine like Baldur's Gate. Yeah.
Yeah, and for me, I'm like, geek, but have you seen the size of the geezer? Do you know what I mean? Have
Yeah.
you seen the size of his arms? Again, it's just, he puts out the content and just going, just put a twist on it on that. So where you're doing an exercise in, his most viral content is not him just being generic. It's him, whether he's got his vest on. And that's when we looked at his brand. I was like, whenever you create content, put the vest on. It's like Dr. Disrespect. I don't know if you know of him. He plays a character. He's a streamer. He's got a moustache. He calls it the Ethiopian caterpillar. He's got the mullet. He wears sunglasses when he plays a game. So he is not the best gamer, but he's the most entertaining. His production value's there. So there'll be people that, like the missus, she can't stand him. I could sit there and watch him for hours.
Yeah.
So it's just being yourself. And if you're into certain things, incorporate that into your content, whether it's using different exercises and relating it to different characters. It then resonates with people that are also into that. And those people that do want to get in shape, they're going to pick Aaron rather than picking me, for example.
If I had somebody come to me now who I knew was, again, bit of a geek and was asking me for a recommendation for a coach, I would say Aaron. Not even I've never worked with Aaron. I don't know if I'm sure he is a fantastic coach. I remember Aaron as the geek coach because of the Lord of the Rings parody reels that he was doing. So he's put that out. I've got no interest in it. I've seen it. I've liked it because I like it. And from that, I would literally, if somebody said to me, I'm a bit of a geek. I love gaming. I love all of those different things. Who do I go to? I'd be like, Aaron, go and talk to him. There you go. Just from him being himself. So yeah. So after, I want to go back to kind of like your journey through Shredded by Science. Obviously, science, evidence based. A lot of like education. You'd already studied and you'd taught at this point. You'd been a college lecturer.
Mm-hmm.
What was the trigger then to go from Shredded by Science into putting the events on the education side of things? I like I remember you telling the story at the event that I saw you speak about how you got, I don't know who was the first to reply to you, Eric Helms, Aaron, I can't remember. What was it about that kind of area that you thought, I'm going to now step into this?
Yeah, it was, so the sort of hosting the conferences were during the transition period. So when we weren't Shredded by Science until Eric Helms come over. So my thing was, everything I've done is always to scratch my own itch or to help a younger version of myself. So as I said, when I started personal training, I had a sports science degree. I was young. I was confident. I didn't know Ethel about finance, marketing, sales. Yeah. There's so many other things that I didn't know. And I found it extremely hard. And then as Joseph Agu, he told me about Alan Aragon. So I was like, all of the stuff that I know, he's contradicting, but he's showing evidence. So that's when I went from a bro to a science person. And then I basically went in the middle. And everyone started calling themselves an evidence-based trainer. I think some people still do. And
they do.
I just reached out to Alan because I just wanted to learn from him. And it was, at that time, I've got a child now, and there was no one bringing over science-based people to the UK. Sent him an email, got ghosted. Sent him, do you know when you stalk people? Well, at the time, stalk on Facebook. I was like, oh, when I sent that email, he was speaking at another event in the US. So I was like, okay, I'll email him back the week after. He then said yes. So that thing was just to get him to come over. And it wasn't necessarily, there would have been a monetary incentive there, but it was going, I want to learn from these people. Once Alan said yes, I didn't just go, oh, let me. And that's how I don't know. I'm a college lecturer, online coach. I don't know anything about running events. So now I'm a fitness or just an event person as well. So what do I need? How do I do tickets? When do I put it on sale? Oh, about a website. Oh, about email marketing. I didn't know anything. So when Alan said, yes, I didn't wait to then run an event and then go, oh, I can do this. It was, I looked on on PubMed, who he had, who featured on certain studies. And then I saw Dr. Brad Schoenfeld. I was like, okay, I'll find him. I'll get his email from his website and I'll email him and say, I'm the guy that managed to get Alan Aragon to agree to come over to the UK to do a conference. Would you also be interested? He then messaged Alan, who the hell's Luke? He's like, oh yeah, he's a stand-up guy. We've never met each other in person. Brad goes, yeah, okay. All right, Alan's in October 2030. Do you want to do like January in 2014? Yeah, okay. Then I looked at the paper again. Dr. Eric Helms. Hi, Eric. I'm the guy that managed to get Brad
And
and Alan to agree to come over. Would you be interested in coming over to do something on bodybuilding? What does he do? Probably a group chat or who the hell's Luke? Oh yeah, stand-up guy. I've not even run an event yet. Now I've got, and then Eric's was booked in. I love those days,
talk
man.
about creating pressure for yourself.
And then we had Eric in April 2014. So from not knowing how to run an event to getting 3 people to say yes, to then running one in October, one in January, and one in April. And I was like, okay, what did I learn? Again, I didn't know about urgency and scarcity. It was influencer marketing.
Yeah.
They were science-based. They had a bigger following. No one knew who Luke Johnson from South East London was. And I'm now associated with these people. Their following are now my following. And I get it. Their clout rubs off on me a tiny bit. And then, oh, Luke's the guy that brought all these people over. And then it's just sort of, that was when sort of the education started happening. And as I said, at that time, we're still just coaching clients as well. But the reason why I changed to education was I was sick and tired. I went back to Luke, 21 years of age, on the gym floor and being like, just say how it is, unsuccessful in picking up PT clients.
Yeah.
So I want to now now I've got this evidence-based knowledge, science-based knowledge. I want to create the personal trainer qualification you wish you had, but you never had the opportunity to get. And that was when I created SBS Academy. I reached out to Helms and Zerdos. Again, selfishly, I'd coach clients to get them lean, but I never got someone on stage. And you'd always be like, is there something magic? Long story short, there isn't really anything magic. You just got to diet them for longer. And they got to learn how to pose. And that's it pretty much. But I went to Helms and I said, imagine you're a PT, you're coaching clients, and now you want to start coaching bodybuilders. Create a course for
what
that.
You need to know, yeah.
And module. Cool. Went to Zerdos, powerlifting. You're a PT, you want to start coaching powerlifters, create a course for that. And that was it. It was sort of Gen Pop, physique athletes, powerlifters, and then a little bit about business side of things.
That was going to be my next question, was the business side, because so all of these things, like you said, you're scratching your own itch, you're almost like plugging a gap in your own knowledge. How did you learn the business stuff? Because I've got a couple of questions about PTC first, and then we're going to go on to what you're doing now. How did you learn the business stuff, or was it literally, again, figuring it out, trial by fire sort of situation?
Yeah, I probably do have ADHD. I've not been diagnosed. I've not been labelled with it or whatever, but I get obsessive. So where I was looking at PubMed and Alan's research review, I got to the point where, okay, now I'm a business owner. So it's just like a switch. And it's going, you spent a lot of your life around anatomy and physiology, coaching side of things, and you get to a certain point and you're like, cool, you can always learn.
Yeah.
But then what I find with trainers is this: I'm just going to do a nutrition course. I'm just going to do another this. I'm just going to do another that. And it's like, you probably have like more than enough knowledge to coach the people you're trying to target. If you just biomechanics and this and that, or like they just get into this bug of, I just want to keep learning about the same old stuff. So I know I've got staff members now. I've got overheads. I need to take all of that time and energy and effort in the science realm, training and nutrition, and then put all my time, energy and effort into business, marketing, sales and stuff like that. And every industry is exactly the same. Like in fitness industry, you had the pro people and the science people. And in the market, in the business industry, it's a lot more influenced by US people. And you'll have some people which still use these tactics like, this is normally $997, but today you don't get it for $499. You don't get it for $299. You're going to get it for $97. So it was doing online courses, reading books, probably paying people for their time to actually go through stuff, and just being able to know where, using the sort of the science-based thing of like bullshit detector, and going, what is that equivalent for the business side of things, the marketing and sales side of things, and just going all in on it and being like, I'm just going to be obsessed. And then when you're a business owner, I say you need to know enough about a lot of things. So you need to know how to, when you're starting off, because what you've got, the currency you've got is time. And I love learning. Love it. Like I've spent Christmas days before, like hours on growing a YouTube channel. And from that perspective, it's going, I just need to learn more and use that BS detector to go, okay, that might work, but that doesn't sit well with me and my values. So I'm not going to use that tactic. And trial and error and tweaking stuff and knowing what's going to work better for your target market. So when you are the evidence-based, science-based people, they're not going to go for that tactic that I just used. Like they're not dumb. So again, each market has different sophistication levels. And as you end up with, like, people know what funnels are. The Gen Pop people won't. So when someone's marketing sophistication is, you can be like cringy when it comes to marketing and sales, and it puts you off, where other people, because they're not as sophisticated or as knowledgeable in that field,
I don't understand.
Won't know it.
I think I've seen, obviously I've worked with quite a lot of coaches over the last 18 months. I've seen a bit of a shift. You said something there. You said a lot of coaches will do another nutrition course, another programming course, and that sort of stuff. My experience at the minute is people are getting into it and straight away going, and I need the business stuff. Maybe it's out of desperation because they're not making enough money to keep their head above the water. I have conversations all the time. Literally at the minute, at the time of recording, I'm in the middle of launching my next intake of my course, having tons of conversations with people. They're all like, no, do you cover lead gen? Do you cover sales? Do you cover marketing? Do you cover getting clients through the door? And I'm saying, well, hold on a sec. Like, the clients that you have got, how long are they staying? Or like 3 months, 4 months. Are they getting results? About 30% of them. I'm like, your issue's not sales and lead gen and marketing. But I think because obviously they're desperate to get more money, I'm seeing personally at the minute, it's the opposite. It's like they're almost like, right, I've got my qualification, I've got a few clients, now how can I make a load of money? And I don't know what the solution to that is.
I know.
What is it?
Well, I think I may know about what's that. It's a double-edged sword. Now, you starting off online coaching in 2024 versus me starting off in 2012, you should get quicker results, because there is far more knowledge and software and technology around today. And people like me to pass on wisdom or advice or experience. Don't do this instead. You can try that, but this is how I found it. And everything sort of changes as well. So they are right to want to get quicker results. But what they're forgetting is they're not actually becoming a good coach.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a double-edged sword. Yes, you need to know more about marketing and stuff like that, but you can't sell shit twice. So where you come in and you're looking at becoming a better coach and client retention, so you need to get clients. So with PTC, I say there's 7 core components to be successful personal trainer. It's been a while now. It was like training, nutrition, coaching, communication, business, marketing, and sales.
Yep.
Now, depending on your target market and your goals and your ambition and your personal values and your previous experience and knowledge, we look at those components and you'll rate yourself out of 5. She'll do like the little spider graph or the FIFA thing with the different scores. And you go, what am I for here? Well, I say none of them are like, it's not like this one's worth 20%, that one's only worth 5%. But it always starts with marketing. Because I'm like, if no one knows who the fuck you are, and you could be the best coach in the world and the best programmer, the best nutritionist,
and if you don't have any,
no one knows who you are, you won't get clients. And if you don't actually there's passing your driving test, and then there's being a good driver.
Yeah.
So it's like, you need to get your foot in And what makes a better coach and a better business owner is more reps.
Experience, yeah.
The marketing's important, but everyone's going to start off at different parts. And depending if you're selling high ticket or low ticket or the service you're thingy, there'll be certain components where your ideal trainer profile of those 7 components will look slightly different to someone else. So you've got to take that into account. People need both marketing, but to be a successful personal trainer, you need to be a good coach. Like if you want longevity and scalability, rather than just getting new crap leads in and selling them into like an 8-week or 12-week thing all the time, you're constantly in, I need new clients. I need new clients. It's a lot harder to get new clients than it is to keep good clients for longer. So, but like you need both, but for longevity and scalability and becoming a good coach, you need to have a good coaching service. Like you should focus time evenly and look at that trainer profile. And then when you do have free time, look at how you're going to upskill in different areas and maybe not try and do all 7 at once.
Yeah.
But go, right, I'm going to spend next month focusing on this. Then I'm going to focus on that. And then it's like a bucket. I think I spoke at before. It's like the bucket and there's like holes in the bucket. So it's like, if you don't have leads coming in or no one knows who you are, there's no water.
Yeah.
So certain things don't even get exposed until you hit a certain threshold. And then you'll realize, oh, that is an issue, but it's only an issue once you hit a certain number of clients. So people going, oh, I'm going to book people in to do a call every single week. I'm like, fine, that's fine when you've got 5 or 10 clients.
What
Like
are you
when
going
you've
to do
got
when
40 clients,
Yeah.
it's not going to work. So again, it's like the volume will then also highlight certain weaknesses or holes in your business. So I feel like the answer is yes, you should want to get quicker results, but you shouldn't be expecting results by doing fuck all.
I do get it. Like, if somebody's only got X amount of money to spend on a course, I get it. Like the retention, the results, the actual coaching skills. It's not the easy sell. It's not the sexy sell. It's not the fast sell. It's not going to show you that fast results. So I do completely understand it. And again, I've been in that situation before where I've been desperate and I'm like, holy fuck, I need to pay the bills. So obviously, like it's a fairly obvious choice. It's interesting. So you've taken all these things. When did PTC become the monster that it turned into?
2019, we rebranded.
So you said something earlier about it was the qualification that you wish you could have got or something like that, because you do cover everything. It's not just your mate. Some of the qualifications out there, the level 2s and 3s. I'm like, what your bony landmarks and what? Like, I'm like, what?
Yeah.
What? So how do you go about that? Because again, that can't be an easy thing of creating a course that then eventually gets accredited where it's enough to people use it to get insured, and because it's not just you're not just creating a course and selling it online. Like there's a load of like tape boxes that you need to tick. Like it became an actual thing, right? So what was again? I imagine your answer is going to be I just figured it out as I went along.
No, it was good. I would remember go back to the college days. I was teaching the same qualification. So when we got into it, and we don't teach the level 2, level 3 anymore. And I'm sure I'll hit on that, but you have your national occupational standards and you have your awarding bodies, and the standards are exactly the same. So when coming, the reason why I probably regret going down that route, to be honest, because it didn't feel right. So when we had the SBS Academy, I think the last year or so, we teamed up with other training providers, and it was like, cool, if you don't have a PT qualification, here's a discount code. You go and do your level 2, level 3 with them. But level 2 and level 3 is a piece of shit. So when it come to PTC, the intentions were well, because it was, let's get someone from day one.
Yeah.
At the moment with the SBS Academy, we're getting the 10% that survived. And out of that 10% is probably 10% enough that respect the science side of things.
Yeah, the stats are shit, right? Of how many people actually. I read someone, I can't remember the actual stat. Like we've all heard the X amount of trainers don't make it past year 1 or year 2. I read a stat the other day. I can't remember what it is. Maybe you'll know it. Of a certain percentage of trainers never actually earn any money. Any money.
Yeah, it's for think about how many people that say, "Oh, I'm a qualified PT," and I'm like, "Cool." There's a difference between having a qualification and being a
doing the job.
full-time personal trainer, whether that's in person or online. So you'll find there's quite a lot of PTs that have a full-time job and do a little bit on the side for a little bit of cash.
Yeah.
That's the majority of people that have gone through it. So again, going back to younger Luke, it was going, I don't agree with the level 2, level 3, but the intentions are well. So I think if we can get people from day one and we give them an additional PT core course, where we would say on that course, it was like we could try and polish the turds, but then it would just create conflict because then the exams they get, it'd be like, how many calories should a female have per day? And if we're going, if we're teaching them how we want to teach them versus what the actual standards say, like they have to pass that test. To pass that test, 60, 70, 80% of it could actually be incorrect. It wouldn't be what we would teach them. So what we did was, you can get your level 2, level 3, but you also get the PT core course, which, you know, when I said like the 7 core components, it touched base on nutrition, but it went through all different elements of that, like the finance side of things, accounting, the business, the marketing, the sales, the systems, the actual training. Rather than teaching someone nasty, was it name, area, silent demonstration, teach, then your turn. We're creating, myself and Tom Hall, we created a PTC, position technique coach. And we're then, rather than showing them how to use a chest press machine, we're showing them, this is the baseline movement, here's a regression, here's a progression. So actually, like, going through, like, in my eyes, it's the best qualification out there for personal trainers. Now, the reason we stopped doing level 2, level 3, because we'd pay active IQ. The whole business model changed. Like, if someone wants to be a PT, they're probably doing something they don't enjoy at the moment. And with the SBS Academy, we used to have intakes every 6 months, and it was a lot easier to build that business model. But now people want to do level 2, level 3. It's a career change. They want to get on the phone. So the business that went from SBS Academy with not many staff members to now PTC, having to deal with awarding organizations, margins are a lot less, dealing with active IQ or other awarding organization assessors who are absolute dog crap. I got to a point and it was like, yeah, it's bringing in some money, a majority of the thing, but it was a hard one because it's hard to sell something when you don't truly fit behind it. So
It's not in it, This is one of the questions
standards have changed slightly.
This is one of the questions that I've got to ask, because you've just come off the back of, basically, I remember you announcing it on Instagram. You just took a year off, right? You were just like, go on, talk to us about that.
All right.
Oh,
let's have a little bit of Dr. Pepper Zero.
Dr. Pepper Zero. Do you know what? It's fantastic, mate. It's not as good as Fanta Zero, but it's pretty good.
Yeah, it's a good alternative for a Zero one, rather than it always used to be Pepsi Max Cherry or Coke Zero.
Yeah.
So I got to the point where it was worked out. It was 10 years. So I started in sort of 2012, 2013 with the business, and then in 2022 or 2023, we started doing some PT coaching, because that's the thing with courses as well. It's very transactional. So once you've got the course, you're then going elsewhere, and you've got to get people to visit venues, do their exams. And I just don't like dealing with those people. Do you know what I mean? That's not me. Like, as you get a little bit grayer and stuff like that, you're then a little bit more, I want to do this, I don't want to do that.
You can be more selective, yeah.
So we started doing PT coaching, and we did a pilot for 3 months. And even though I had like Laura, Tom, Alec, Joe and stuff like that, we had like different elements of the business. And it was like mentoring, but it was like coaching, mentoring at the same time. But I've gone from not doing anything to now having like 40 people that I'm doing. I did sales calls with some of them. Others, Alec did the sales calls. And it put me into retirement. It was going through it, and I was just like, my diary's gone from, and this is, I can't remember, it's like a manager's schedule versus like a creator schedule. Was it Paul Graham? He's got this guy on Twitter, like, but he was, can't remember what his title is, but basically really successful business person. And I much prefer having my schedule fairly clear. So even like when you say you want to do a podcast, I'm like, yeah, I pretty much do any time, ideally between these days, because I'm not a manager.
Yeah.
So when I had these people, Luke, coaching, monthly reviews and all that, like we built systems, everything. But then what I realized, because I know a lot about everything, and most of the people like marketing, sales side of things, they would be booking in calls, like 15-minute calls with me. And I was like, holy crap. So I just got to the point. And as I said, there's two things I regret. Not building my personal brand. I was very like at the early days, I never had the desire to be the man. Hence, I'll just go to the best people who I thought in their niche for that topic and get them to do their stuff. And I was like, cool, you do that and I'll just learn about this. That's the thing with most fitness people and stuff like that. They're not really good at the business marketing, the sales side of things.
Yeah.
So like, okay, I'll learn that stuff because I'm never going to be smarter than you on this topic, but I'll be the curator. And I look back, it's two regrets. Not being on my personal brand, I was like, I don't want my brands, and this is still to a certain extent, I don't want my business success to be predicated on me being front and center of the company.
Yeah.
But we all change. Our desires change, our experience change, what we want to do changes all the time. And we see it now with like more of the creators and stuff like that. Kids now want to just be YouTubers, where if you've got a good personal brand, it gives you so much more opportunities. It enables you to charge more money. It enables you to even have like the reason why these influencers might not have as high a churn as you think, because they've got super fans.
Yeah.
When you've got super fans, they're blinded by the experience that they're getting. And they're stayed with someone, a coach, that has an inferior service purely because, I've got such a connection with that individual. So,
and they can say the coach, but yeah.
So I got to the point, and it was 10 years in, and that was one of the biggest regrets, personal brand. And the other thing is, I'd never took money out of business. I was always looking to how can I just reduce the tax bill? So it was invest another 60 to 100K in a new course, staff members, new stuff. So I got to that point. I'm looking at it, and I'm 36 years of age. I'm going, I've got fuck all. Like, what have I got to my name? I don't have my own house. I don't have this. Not that I even want the Dubai lifestyle. Do you know what I mean? But I looked at it, and when I looked at the staff and what got paid what, I was like, I was the second lowest person that got paid. Even though I had like the business cards, I'd put stuff on the business. So, but actual money coming out of the business into my bank account. And I was like, nah. So pretty much, I had one PAYE member of staff, the others were subcontractors. I said, guys, I'm having a year off. See you later. You're gone. And then in the meantime, obviously, I'm keeping the PTC brand, and I'm still in that phase now where I was like, I'm going to take a year off, and I don't know when I come back if I want to do the PTC game, if I still want to do the education game. So I'll keep, from an outsider's perspective, we're still post on social media like 3 times a week. It's a lot less now on PTC. And I just need to get away and figure out what I want to do. But might have been the worst decision of my life.
Why is that?
Because I lost my identity.
Right.
I just became a dad. Like there's a bit so like now, even before I took a year off, I take my kids to school, I pick my kids up. I'm still doing that stuff. But my idea was first 3 months, all I'm going to do is do nothing. I'm going to play Call of Duty during the day. But when you've got a young child like Lincoln, it's like, well, that ain't going to happen.
Yeah.
And then my plan was first 3 months. My thing, what I said to myself, because I'm good and bad. Good at certain things and bad at other things. I can quite easily get distracted and be like, change. So I said to myself, in this year, whatever you do, whether it's go back to PTC or do something new, you are not doing nothing for a year.
Yeah.
You can write down the ideas or whatever it would be, but you'll do nothing. So the plan for the first 3 months is do nothing, which I did to a certain degree. Again, it's like that infancy stage. So it's like, when I say like do nothing, I probably just checked emails like 5 minutes a day.
Yeah.
Then the next plan for the next 6 months was, I'm just going to spend time learning the stuff that I want to learn, which I did and didn't do to a certain extent. And then the next 3 months was, I'm going to plan the next 10 years of my life. And what's that going to look like? But as I said, I lost my identity. My confidence dropped. It's still like me being honest. I posted something on Monday just saying like I had a terrible day. Like I'm not one of, but I was just like, what the fuck am I doing? Like I'm looking at people online. I'm like, I taught you, I did this, and you have this, you have that. And the girlfriend said, are you jealous? I was like, trying to find the word. I still don't know. I was like, I'm not jealous because I don't want those things, but I'm envious or pissed off that even if I did want those things, I'm not currently in that situation. They're not currently in the situation that I'm in. I've got a girlfriend with Crohn's and I've got 3 kids and I'm trying to run a business and I've had a year off. So my money's gone from here to there.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'm going to have to go back and it's going, what is it that I want to do? And I've always found it hard with like, but why? But why? What's your vision? What's your value? What's your long-term goal? What's this? What's this? What's that? I've sort of come to the conclusion, I don't really care. I don't need to have this wishy-washy why or big vision and like massive thing. Or maybe I do. I still don't know. So now I'm sort of coming back and going, when I had that time of it, it was going, what do I like? What do I dislike? What am I good at? What am I bad at? And how can I then create a business that fits to the lifestyle that I want to have and predominantly just doing the stuff that I want to do? So that's where I am today.
I think that's really important, and something that not a lot of people pay enough attention to is this idea of you need to know what I still don't know. Not a clue. I know the way that I live my life at the minute is a bit cheesy. I've got a mission statement, right? Have you seen Air? The film about where Nike.
Oh yeah, Michael Jordan. Yeah.
Yeah, so throughout the film, they're posting bits of Nike's mission statement, like little clips of Nike's mission statement.
Yeah.
I've actually got it printed off the Nike one. It's there on my wall.
Okay.
I just think it's a really cool way to do things. So at the minute, I've got this mission statement, and I've got no idea what I want to do with my life. But I know that for me, I want to impact people. I know that fulfillment will always be my priority. Not bringing new people in, servicing the people that I'm working with. I know that I am happy to voice my opinions on what coaching should and shouldn't be and what coaching actually is and isn't. So I have these things. I have no idea what that looks like. Right now I'm doing the Amplifier. I love it. I can't see me doing anything differently now. Can I see myself doing it at 45? Probably not. But I don't fucking know what that is. So I think a lot of people think they need to have this massive 10-year plan. And it's my 10-year plan 5 years ago would have looked different to my 10-year plan now if I had to make one. So you can make this plan, but 3 years maximum for me.
Yeah, you're like trying to create something that you want now for 10 years when you don't even know. When I was younger, it's like, I want an Aston Martin by the time I'm 35. I could have had that. But then I had kids when I was, 26? And I've got 3 of them. So I was like, okay, I've got third one on the way by that time. And I couldn't think of anything else, like worse. I was like, why, can't fit anyone in. So again, it's like, it's good to have a direction, but there's only one constant in life, and that's going to be change. Like things change, circumstances change. Some things you control, some things you don't control. What's important to you today might be the least important thing to you in 2, 3, 4 years' time.
Yeah.
So again, it's sort of lit. It sounds cheesy, but like you just got to live for today, and like you do have one life. And as you get older, more and more people around you will die, and you'll sort of realize life is fairly short in the grand scheme of things. And I just look back, and even now I'm like, how much money do I want to make? You say, because I didn't take much personally. All I know is, all I keep thinking about is, say, like me on my deathbed. Hopefully, I always say 80 odd. I don't think I want to go too long, much longer than that. And I'll probably always go, why the fuck didn't you go and try and do something more? Because you felt like you could. As I said, I'm no one special, but I've been very competitive from a young age, and I've always said, I've not been put on this earth to be content with being normal. But again, as I said, I'm nothing special, but I believe I can do special things, and whatever vehicle that is, whether it's you do it this way one time and then you change and you might go a totally different path. Don't feel like you need to put the pressure on yourself to do that. And ultimately, if you have you use the word impact, and when I've had like some business coaching before, my sort of statement is impact through action. I hate people that talk a good game and don't actually back the fuck up with it.
Yeah.
And it's like impact through action. So for me, it's like, how can I impact? What actions can I do to impact the lives of others? And even from like training education, if we're looking at it this way, as an online coach, I'm only helping my clients, and then the residual, or like the thing of their close family. Like if I can help Lewis and 1,000 coaches, and out of those 1,000 coaches, they have on average 25 clients, that's a bigger impact. And if you impact 1 million people, probably going to be a millionaire, because all it takes is £1 for every person and you're a millionaire. So I feel like, especially with clients, is try not to chase a fucking 10-figure month.
Yeah.
Try and chase, I want to help X number of people. And the monetary value is the byproduct of the people that you're helping with whatever service or product that you're giving them, whether it's PT, whether it's something else. So just think of it from a change your mindset to sign up there rather than money. Because in this fitness world and mentoring at the moment, it's all fucking money, 10 figures this, 10 figures that. You're looking at an individual, and you're looking at them as a Great British pound, as a pound sign or a dollar sign. It's like, no, they're an individual. Just have something of value that they will pay you for, and by the service or product, they will get the result they're looking to achieve. And guess what? How do they pay with that? Money.
Mm-hmm.
The more value you provide someone, the more money you make. If you give someone a financial return on investment, so this was the thing when I went from like trainer education side of things, was with clients, people will pay a certain amount of money to get abs, but people will pay a lot more money to make more money. So for me, it's like, give me the power to impact people in their, like their health, wealth, and relationship. It's like, I want to help you with your wealth, as in build more wealth. And you will then indirectly, from being a personal trainer, you're helping people with their health and their relationships with their families. So it's like, you're the middleman. It's like, I can give my help to you to then help more people than I would be able to do it on my own.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a similar kind of like thought process I went through. Like when I decided to lean, I took a massive risk. I had Body and Brain, which was my coaching company. It was like firing, like a full client base, making decent money, all recurring, and I'd started working with other coaches in something that I used to be a part of, and I was seeing the service that some coaches were selling to people for £250, £300, sometimes £350 a month, and I was going, I don't like this. You are literally selling cookie cutter shit to this amount of people, and it doesn't feel right. So I can either complain about it or I could do something about it. So then I started putting this method together with all the mindset work that I'd done personally and all the studying that I'd done, and other people started asking me about it. And I had people for literally like nearly a year going, you should sell this, you should sell this. I was like, nah, I just want to coach my clients. And then it was that catalyst of, actually, I can impact more people, more end users, more clients can have a better experience and get the life-changing results that they need. Because you've seen what I used to be 150 kilos.
Yeah.
I've been that person that needed that service. And I had this nagging feeling of there's people out there that are paying God knows how much. I'm more than likely, from my knowledge anyway, not getting what they need and not having the experience that they want, and not getting the result that they are paying for, not just paying for, but need, some like actually need. So that was exactly the exact same transition for me. It's like, it really, really stung, but knowing my values and knowing my mission statement, it was really hard, because what I eventually ended up doing is I sent a text to every single one of my clients. They'd known I'd been talking about this thing that I was passionate about for a while, and I texted them all, WhatsApped them all, saying, really, really sorry. I know that I've been keeping you in the loop. I've decided that I'm going all in on this thing. I'm cancelling all of your payments. As of today, I'm cancelling all your payments, and I'm going to coach you for a month for free to either set you up to do what you want to do after, or help you find another coach. And over 30 clients, 2 had an issue with that. Only 2. I could have easily kept taking the money off him and let it fizzle out naturally and stuff like that. But knowing my values and knowing that I wanted to have an impact helped massively. And you've mentioned values a few times throughout this chat that we've been having. They are so important. It's really important to know what aligns with you. And if you get that weird conflict feeling, listen to it, trust your gut, and go with it, because there are a lot of people out there teaching you how to make a load of money, and some of it will make you feel weird. Listen to that.
Yeah, like even when I had the bad day on Monday and I was speaking to the missus, she said about the jealous, and it was I said to her, if I didn't care as much or had the values that I have, I'd have a lot more money.
Yeah,
because there's a lot of things that I've said no to or wouldn't do, and let's not beat around the bush. The fitness industry is full of thieves that sell shit and talk a good game and hire stuff and portray someone. They are acting. And like I could, and that was the thing. It was going back to the deathbed thing. It'd be like, why didn't you try and go bigger? But I know when I'm on that deathbed, there's no cheating on my partner. There's no one that can bring anything up about me in this industry. People might not like me because of the way I am or personality wise, but no one will be able to pull any shit up about me. Where you can't say the same for other people who have been in this game less than me, who are making more money than me, that maybe they just don't care. It's just like their morals and their values are different. And I said to her, I would have a lot more money if I didn't give a fuck and I was just trying to fleece people for money and not back up with actually delivering. And even with like the clients that I take on now, so as I said, I don't want to work with people in the earlier stages, but with like Robin, with the MitFit guys, I call it growth partnership. And it drained, like I'm doing, it's not mentoring, it's coaching, but I'm into automations. I love that stuff. Like, as I said, because I know quite a bit about a lot of things. It enables me to, as I said, having that year off is like, I don't want to have a big team. So because of that, that's going to limit what I can do and the choices that I can make. And therefore, that will limit the amount of money that I also make. But I was fine with that. And it's going, who do I want to work with? So I'll be building out funnels, automations, helping them with their offers, helping them with their market and launching stuff. That's what I've done for years. But I love it. And I use example with Robin is in the old days, when I had my business, I didn't want to do mentoring. My thing was focus on building your own business. Like be the captain of your own ship, build that. Yeah. Rather than trying to coach other people. It's like, just focus my time, energy and effort on my own business, on me. And it was selfish and selfless at the same time. And I used to be sort of anti that, but I feel like if you find the right clients, I use the example as I was once the Premier League footballer and now I'm Pep Guardiola. So it's not quite the same as you. Like you're not going to get the same feeling as such. But my goodness, when your client succeeds in a launch or their business and they trust you enough to say, cancel everyone's membership because you've got this payment gateway here, there. And it's like, we can't track anything. You have to manually cancel people paying like $14.99 a month. That ain't sustainable. We want to scale this.
Yeah.
And they trust you and they get good results. And when they win, now I'm just like, now I'm the manager. So I'm not on the pitch, but I still get the sense of winning when they win. And that's a good feeling.
Yeah. So I've just noticed, mate, I could continue this conversation forever. I don't want to take too much more of your time, but I do want you to talk about what you're doing now. So you had those kind of 3 months, you figured it out. I remember watching it on stories, literally kind of like unfold live. The OG started to appear and the blue and the red and to talk about branding and stuff like that. So go talk to us.
Yeah, it's weird. Even like at the start of this year. So I sort of knew, I looked at, all right, I like software, I like automations. My experience is like online coaching. I'm far more interested in the business marketing and sales side of things than I am on training and nutrition. I've not been in the coaching game for a while now. It bores me. It's not what I want to do. So I looked at, even at the start of this year, it was going, I had 3 sort of options. It was coach, say 20 to 30 people, charge X amount per month. Or option 2, charge less amount of people and do like launches of certain programs. So I love a launch. As I said, now I want to build my personal brand more. It enables me to have more opportunities.
Mhm.
And then the other thing is software. So I've teamed up with George at Systemize at Scale and building out the bestptsoftware.com because that's what I love doing. And for me, if I don't want to have members of staff and I want recurring revenue, there's not like software is hard to sell. It's not a sexy sell.
Yeah.
But it's looking at taking all of the things I like to do and go, well, with the growth, rather than mentoring, I did growth partnerships. So I charged more money and I was like, I kept working with 5 people. That brings me X amount of money per month. But that's quite draining. So even like now, after doing it for several months, where I said I could take 5 people, I'm like, damn, there's a lot of, I don't even think I can do that because I can't disconnect the emotional investment or even the time. Like I will just keep working and working and working on those people. Like when I did my social chatbot challenge, Robin also had a launch and I was like, I'm going to pick her launch success over mine. So I did like a very inferior one because I spent my time and energy in it, like 90% of my time on that. So now I'm currently building out the bestptsoftware.com and it's basically going, well, there was none of this when I was coaching 2012. And because of the evolution of software, no one should really be sending people to a Google form. Things should not be manual if they don't need to be manual.
Yeah.
People want to generate leads. People like a website's not important, but I'm like, there's so many like drag and drop website builders now. So it's building like the most complete software for trainers. And the beautiful thing about that is not only will they save time, energy, and money, but it will actually improve their coaching experience. So when I'm building this out, I'm using all of my experience as a coach, as a business owner, with my skills of being able to do automations and stuff like that and going, I'm going to build the ultimate consultation system.
Yeah.
So rather than using Calendly, Typeform, or Google Forms and Zapier and this and that, you can just use it all in the software.
All in house. Yeah.
So now my goal now is I want to get 1,000 trainers on the software. And once they're on the software and using it, the price is not going to be too expensive. It's like probably the price of one online client a month and they'll stay forever. So for me, that is the new challenge. Like I want to spend my time, energy, effort on that because it will enable me to do the stuff that I enjoy doing and not have to have many members of staff at all to be able to deliver it. So that's like the new challenge, the new phase, work with a handful of people that I want to work with and just build out the software and get as many trainers on it as possible because it will indirectly improve the service that the clients will receive from that trainer. Because we've got like little things when you sign up your birthday. So we've got things where like it will remind you 7 days before that client's birthday is coming up. It will remind you when you get your 1 month, 3 month, 6 month, 12-month anniversary. It will enable you to generate leads, track leads, create content, and just overall the things that trainers struggle with. The software will just help make it a lot more simpler and improve the service that they deliver to their clients.
Yeah, and that ties, again, going back to that impact thing. That's going to have an impact on way more many people. Again, even the little birthday reminders are brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Like, I think PT distinction, which is what I used to use to actually coach people, maybe told you on the day, maybe. But like having enough notice to actually send a card or send a gift or something like that. Again, it's all that service delivery stuff that I absolutely love. So yeah, is that live? Is it you working on it at the minute and it's going to be launched or talk to it? Yeah, let me know.
Yeah, so we did like a pre-launch beta with a few users and now we're just fine-tuning the stuff of like getting it there. So it will be on the bestptsoftware.com. It's not there, but again, people might listen to this podcast in several months' time, so it might be there.
Yeah.
But again, me now just being that I obsess over product. I'm very much system product focused, which is hard because then you still got, it's finding the time to, you, as we said earlier, it's like, are you focused on becoming a better coach or becoming a better marketer? It's like product and promotion.
Yeah.
I feel like if you really focus on the product, when you build that out, it helps with the promotion side of things.
For sure.
As you said, it would just help with people and reducing the churn rate. So currently, of the time of this podcast, we've got a sort of alpha version there, or beta version there, and we'll be building that out. So I will be probably when we open it up again in the next couple of weeks, I probably will try and just get like a few tester people, do them a nice little deal, and making sure we're getting feedback to fine tune it, so they don't have to spend thousands and thousands of pounds for a mentor to tell them, here's a type form.
Yeah. Here's a template.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Coach.
Yeah. Sound. So outside of the software, if it's live when people are listening back to this or not, where else can people find you? Where do people need to go to keep track of this stuff?
Probably just find me on like Instagram, Luke Johnson PTC, and yeah, I'm posting content there. I want to start putting more. Like once the software's out, I'm just going to be heavily on like YouTube content because again, short form content's good. But after a while, it gets pretty annoying that you're having to try and cram these amazing hooks to grab people's attention, where true value comes from a podcast like this, where we've been going for over an hour, where it's natural, it's not fake, it's not you trying to just show snapshots of stuff like that. So that's one of the things but yeah, just follow me on Luke Johnson PTZ. And then the other links to stuff will be there. But I'm definitely more of a fan of a longer form, more value-based, casual type of content.
Nice. Right. Thank you very much for your time, mate. That's been absolutely mint. And I can't wait to watch this software grow, because I think it'll be something that I'll definitely be recommending to the clients that I work with, well, the coaches that I work with at Amplifier, because I'm all about delivering a better service. So I'm going to be keeping an eye on it as well, mate.
Perfect. Cheers, mate. Thanks for having me.